All right, so what I'm going to be showing you next is going to be called color maps. And what these maps are going to help me is to minimize the work that I have to do whenever I have to select a shape or something. Um, so this can be used in conjunction with Photoshop or Substance Painter or other texturing tools. So here what I want to do is we have been working with rendering most of, modeling most of the time, but I'm going to be working with rendering this time. I want to go to my lighting and shading, and I want to go to my transfer maps. So Maya is really great to extract diffuse normals. It used to also contain ambient occlusion maps, but as they move on to Arnold, the new renderer, they got rid of that. So we're going to be using a different tool to extract the ambient occlusion map, which is basically soft shadows on the object, but that is going to be coming up on a different software. Also, I'm not going to be extracting normals because Maya doesn't have any new information to take this information, this object out of. So if I wanted to, if I had a different shape, let's say that sphere over here, I will be able to project the shadows of this sphere onto this one, or I can actually project the information out of these colors onto this one. But right now I don't really have anything to project information out of. Then my normal map actually cannot project the information in here just directly. It's going to be really complicated. So I'm going to be showing you XNormal in a different lesson, but for now this is just going to be helping me extract the information out of the color, and that is going to be really beneficial. So first things first is Maya needs a target mesh and a source mesh in order to extract this information. By default, whatever I have on my scene is going to be added onto this. I can actually clear everything, but if I just select it and say add selected, that is going to be the target mesh. But what is going to be the source mesh? Because ultimately what I want is to take out the colors directly from the mesh. So what I will do here is I'm just going to duplicate, so Control D, this shape. I have Pokeball 1 and Pokeball regular Pokeball. Pokeball 1 is going to be my source mesh. See, as you can see, they are exactly the same mesh. They are right on top of each other, and everything is just going to be perfect. So what I want now is to extract a diffuse map. So what is going to be the diffuse map is the base color. So diffuse, base color, albedo, they are used interchangeably to project what is going to be the basic color that the shape is going to have. This is going to try to save a DDS file, but I want to work with a PNG. So let me just find PNG here at the top, and I will change the name from sample color to something like t underscore Pokeball and underscore cc as in color code. Yeah, the next thing that I need to say is what is going to be the size. I want to work with a 1024 by 1024, and usually the higher quality the better on the sampling, but I have noticed that it doesn't really make a lot of difference for something that this is so low poly. So something like that. And I'm gonna go back here to advanced options. I think everything else is good. So I want to transfer in world space. Yeah, everything seems perfect. So at this point, I'm just going to hit bake. That is going to start a progress bar here at the bottom. Once it's done, let's see if I actually generated, because it's showing me an issue. And yeah, this is the map that I wanted to take a look at. This thing is going to have great benefits once I start working with my with extracting the information. So everything in here seems fine. So fill texture seams and everything. Yeah, no, everything seems to be okay. I don't know why Maya gave me this error, but as you can see, it actually applied that to a new Lambert 4. Do you see that? Instead of having multiple materials, let me take this one. This is the one that I had, the red, the black, the white, because this is the new the copy of the source. It actually applied that to this new material. So I have a single Lambert that has that texture associated with it. Do you see that? T Pokeball CM. So, and I think that is actually where the error is coming from this preview. I'm not entirely sure why, but there you go. The sample is there. So it seems that I'm done, right? Well, yeah, but imagine that I chose different colors that I want to adjust or something. or that I want to write on top of this thing. I don't know, many different things can happen. What I will do is I'm gonna select this thing now. I'm gonna select that Pokeball, and I will follow the same workflow that I did for the PSD network, and I'm going to go to UV and then UV editor. In the UV editor, I'm gonna go to my image and I'm gonna say create PSD network, for which I will have to choose that Lambert 4, and I'm gonna say I want color, and unfortunately it doesn't have a diffuse channel because it applied it into a Lambert, and it did apply it into a Lambert because I wasn't extracting the specularity out of it, which is totally fine for now. I can work with the specular map later, but for now I will just hit apply or create. Now this one is going to be named super weirdly. Let me just change the name to something like T underscore or temporary texture underscore, let's see what a good name is, Pokeball underscore color code PSD. Seems fine, good name as any. So I'm just gonna hit create and gonna take a look at my files. So I did created that the Pokeball CC. So let's open that in here, and there you go. That is a file that I have created. Now this seems really nice, although there's some pixeling bordering over here that I want to get rid of. So I'm gonna go back to this layer, and if I take a deep look at it, if I erase this, actually not erasing, I'm painting, so I won't be able to erase unless I go here and click on that. So that is gonna go onto the back layer. There's gonna be a little bit of work that I need to do in here, especially for that border. It may seem that it doesn't matter, that it's actually outside of the border, but in my experience that actually kind of changes things a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just change my color here, and I'm just going to play with the border. In some cases I'm gonna have some bleeding into the actual shape. Probably you would be able to see that in here if I zoom in. Yeah, do you see that that white is bleeding onto the black? So that's something I want to be extra careful about. So I'm gonna go back to Photoshop and I'm going to try to fix that as much as possible. I want to paint this in black and I want to paint it over here. So on the different tools, so I'm going to go here. At this point, if you want to have more precision, I encourage you to work with a drawing tablet. For now, I'm just doing some rough, very rough coloring. So, and I'm actually just going around these borders to clean it up. Notice that I'm working on the layer 1 here. So this is going to be somewhat okay, and I will just try to fine-tune these values as much as possible. I don't want to have these bleeding into the button. So Maya does a really good job. It doesn't matter if I change the quality settings on my export, I think, but yeah, on this one, if it's bleeding out, that's totally fine, but bleeding in, it's the worst. Bleeding in, I mean, it's going inside of the shape. Bleeding out is just going outside of the shape. Bleeding out is fine, but bleeding in is going to be a pain to work with. So I might as well just change that now and don't suffer the consequences later. Also, black is something I can work with, but I'm gonna make my background blue because it's contrasting with everything else that I have in here. I'm gonna paint that blue. Gonna disable that, and I get to see the borders, so I do care about that. I need to be extra careful with it, but I want to paint my thing. So as I was saying a second ago, I can actually have things that I cannot speak, give instructions and paint at the same time. So what was I saying? I don't want to have colors bleeding in onto the shape. And the thing that I wanted to say is I don't necessarily need to have this as a black, especially because the background is going to be black. I could have selected the black to be something like I don't know, a magenta color, and when I exported, this band here is going to look magenta in contrast to the background that is going to be black. But that's miscalculation on my part. And what this color map is going to give me is actually the materials that are going to be applied. The material have many different properties, not only just what color it is going to be, but also what are the reflecting properties and such. So I mean, for now this is fine. This color selection worked pretty decently for the as complicated as the Pokeball is. This is doing a really decent job. There's a lot of real fine-tuning that I need to do if I want to make this work perfectly. But once we get into the next software that is my favorite, Substance Painter, then you will notice that there's not really a big issue going on in here. That is just only if you don't have access to Substance Painter. So yeah, for now this is going to be my color map. Now what I want to is start creating materials here. So this is really good. This is as good as it will go, and I kind of like it. I can actually change the opacity of this thing to something a little bit lower just to make sure that everything is colored. But the main idea here is now that I want to separate these into channels. So what I mean with that is I'm going to select this UV snapshot, and what I want to do is select this layer. This is going to be my base just to have a backup, and I'm going to go to my select by color range. So select color range on this red, and I will select that. Now I'm going to make a new layer, and this layer I want to fill it or flood it with the actual color that I want to do. So if I wanted to have a green Pokeball, bring it in red, or if I wanted, as in this case, what I want, a red Pokeball, I will just fit it with this color. And this one I'm going to rename that to red. So that is going to be it. Control D to deselect, and I'm going to hide this one. Now over here I'm going to select everything that is on my color range. So select by color range everything that is white. So this part, I'm going to hit OK. So again, what if the bottom part of the Pokeball I wanted a different color? Well, I can actually just make a new layer, and I can paint it, let's say red as well. Not gonna do that, but let's say that I wanted a premium ball. So the band was going to be white, and everything else is going to be actually a premium ball is going to be the opposite. Both the top and the bottom are going to be white, and then the band is going to be red. So what I mean with that is, let's go back to my reference. This is what a Premiere Ball looks like. Okay, so if I wanted something like that, I would potentially want to have that. In here, I'm just going to call this white, and I want to actually paint it in white because it does make sense to have it that way. Let me undo and just fill it with white. And I'm gonna rename it once again white, because I added the color, now I have to do shell by shell. So white is here and this one is here, and I may want to keep this base as the background color, so Control D, just to make sure that I have something. But now I have quick selection masks, which is really neat. So let's do a base selection as well. Here I'm gonna be making this into select by color range on everything that is black, and or I can have a new background without any selection at this point, because I only have 3 colors. If I had more colors, then probably I would need to add something else. So yeah, Control D, and just gonna make a base, and this one is I'm just gonna be flooding it in black, and there you go. So that is my map. Again, what is the great advantage of this? Well, I'm gonna save this as, and this is going to be my new color code map. So I'm gonna hit save this as a PNG, and now this is my old base color. This is my old color code map. I don't want to overwrite that one, so I'm just gonna call this CC. New is a terrible name, because what is new? It's like whenever you save your file as final for real, final revision. So it makes sense just to add a 01 at the end. So color code 01. I'm gonna hit save. That is my new map, and if I wanted to, I could actually apply that map here. Just what I want to is make a new material here. If I don't have that Pokeball material, I don't, so I'm gonna assign a new material Lambert. This is going to be my material Pokeball. I'm gonna name this one Pokeball. And this material is going to have a file attached to it. The file that is going to be attached to this file, to this model, is going to be my color code 01. At this point, this is my texture, so basically this is like, I'm done, yeah, but I'm going to be using this color code for a different purpose, so I'm not going to be writing on top of it or anything. So this is just my basic color code. And then over here, let's say that I decide that I want to have these as, let me save these. Let's say that I want to have these as Deluxe Ball. So I'm going to take this layer, I'm going to paint everything in red because that's what the Deluxe Ball is going to do. I can select by clicking Control and here, red. And then I would be able to make a new layer out of it. I'm going to be putting it on the top, and I want to paint the whole thing in white. I already have this white selection, but you know, let's just practice that one more time. I'm going to click on this one, and now I'm going to go to my layer one once again, and I'm going to be painting everything in here. I don't need really this layer. I'm going to hide my white and my red, and I'm going to Control D to deselect this one, so I can go to my file and save as, and this is going to be another PNG. This time around, this is going to be my, instead of Pokeball CZ01, this is going to be my Deluxe Ball. It's premium, right? Not Deluxe. Deluxe is the black one. It's going to be the Premium Ball CC. And save this as, so I have this color and I have these colors. So now if I go back here and say, you know what, change my mind, I don't want a Pokeball, I want a Premium Ball. Done, I have it. I just change it super easily, super quickly, and this is going to be really helpful once I get into Substance Painter. So what I'm going to do off camera is I'm going to work with the base map that I had, and I'm going to just refine it. So it's basically, I'm just gonna connect my drawing tablet and start making fine tunes on these textures, so I have a better model to work with. And the next thing that I'm going to do is going to be taking these to Modbox and start adding and carving some details into the object, so I can extract the normal map and have better looking Pokeball. So that is going to be it for this part, and I will catch you in the next video with more new information. Thanks for watching.